Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first edition of our European Conference on Security and Authentication. We're pleased to have Suyên Arts as our host and moderator for this conference. Suyên is based in Belgium. She is a seasoned TV presenter, keynote speaker, and business leader. Let's welcome Suyên.
Thank you so much for this nice introduction, Stephanie. Very welcome from my side. I am indeed Suyên Arts, your host and moderator, and I'm really delighted to be so. And I'm very curious to hear everything that we are going to learn today. This event is organized by Cromnix, a marketplace to connect European tech providers with international corporate buyers. And the idea is to match tech needs with relevant solutions. I think we can directly dive into that sessions. And our first speaker is Sébastien. Good morning, Sébastien Brangoulo, Chief Revenue Officer of UNISSEY. And Sébastien will address the topic on how to securely authenticate remote customers' credentials with face biometrics. So that sounds very interesting, Sébastien. Tell us, first of all, I hope you're doing fine this morning, and tell us a bit more about UNISSEY. What are you doing exactly?
Hi, Jane. Thank you very much, and hello to everyone. Well, we all know that the digital space is enormous and still growing at an exponential rate. So we know that millions of people are connecting every day, and they are still using the infamous password. And it's been quite a long time that everyone is announcing the end of the password, but we are still, unfortunately, still logging with passwords. And UNISSEY here supports company basically to support those expectations, let's say, to switch to another way to authenticate through facial biometrics. So we have developed in-house a technology that would allow any user to authenticate himself against the platform, whether it is on mobile device, whether it is on laptop. And I think this was the main issue today, is to have, let's say, a straightforward way to authenticate a user, whether it is on a mobile device, on a laptop. So this is what UNISSEY is bringing today in an extremely secure way to access the digital world using his face.
Okay, very, very interesting. So done with passwords, you say, but could you define exactly what facial biometrics is then exactly?
So facial biometric is the way to use the traits of the user of the face, to extract the information from the face, and to use this information as the new password, basically to extract that information, analyze the information, and use this information really to allow a user not to touch any keyboard, just to look at the camera and to go directly through the authentication platform. And that's how it works, using, of course, artificial intelligence that we have developed in-house to make this comparison from a reference picture that would be stored on a device or on a server, just to allow the user to come back and to authenticate himself against this reference picture.
Okay, but I'm really wondering, how can this then work on the side of the customer?
How it works on the side of the customer? Well, actually, it's just an instant selfie. You just have to take a short selfie video, and then in that case, the selfie video will allow the system to recognize if you're a real person behind the screen, and then to compare this selfie video against the reference picture that has been stored. Everything is done on the back end. All the complexity is done on the back end, simplicity for the user and complexity for our systems.
Okay, so you actually check whether I am a human or not. I understand that correctly. If I would be a robot, it will not work. But what type of device could operate with your system? You said you can use it on a phone, you can use it on a computer. Can you tell us more about that?
Any device that is equipped basically with a camera, because this is the, let's say, the sensor that we will use in biometrics to capture your face. You would just need a camera. So that's why we use basically the camera anywhere, in any place, any kind of person as well, because we know in biometrics you get the issue, and potentially other we'll talk about that as well, on the bias, and we work also on the bias to allow everyone to access the platform in the same way, wherever you are located in the world. It's not an issue on the people. It's just, it must be an issue on the technical side. So we need to work on that, and we need to take care on the rest. And we also provide this technology I was saying on the laptop, and we are the first to provide that on the world, because we have been evaluated at the highest level on the laptop. So yeah.
Okay, great. And yeah, interesting that you say that, of course, in artificial intelligence, we also have to think about the bias, and it's very important that every human being can get authenticated. But how long would then the customer's onboarding process take to make this work?
Well, actually, a full onboarding process with biometrics is very quick, because you just have to extract the information from a document or store a reference pixel somewhere, and then the process will start. And the process will start basically just by capturing a face, verifying that you are human, and then comparing it. But I can show you with the short demo, and I think the demo is much more informative than just a talk.
Okay,
so,
great. I'm very curious. Show us how that works.
Let me share my screen. So this is our demo platform. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So basically what we have developed, it's the demo that use our algorithms on the back end. So we have the ability to perform liveness and face comparison. That's what I would show today, or just the liveness. So first I will start by doing liveness and face comparison. So basically I will just take a picture of my ID. Sorry for that. I just hidden my information because this is my real French ID card. So I don't want to disclose all the information, but just my face. So I'll take my face, and you can see there is my picture here. So this picture will be used as a reference picture. So here I'm using the picture on my documents, but you can perfectly have a picture already stored somewhere, either on the device itself of the user device, or into a server where the system will use this picture to authenticate. And then basically what we will have to do is just to record just a very quick video. So the system will tell me exactly how to put myself. So it's just, you can see, it's as soon as I'm right in front of the camera, I will picture and say, yes, I'm alive, which is a good thing. So it's a good thing to know that I'm alive. And the comparison is exactly what expected to be compared to my face on the document. Basically, this is how it works. So it's very simple. So that's why it's very quick. And that's why we want basically to show to the users that the authentication can be very fast, very swift, very secure. So I can show you, for example, an attack. So here I have, I'm not sure you can see my video, but I have a picture of me here. This is the most common attack you can find on the kind of system. Mm-hmm. You can find a picture of someone on a social media or whatever you want. So this is the most common attack. I would just show you the liveness part. So I will not do the face comparison. Obviously, the face comparison will work because it's me, but just the liveness. So just to record the video on the liveness, just to show you. Here, this is the kind of attacks that we have. So, and then the system will say, well, this is strange, something strange happening here. Please try again. So we don't want to disclose too much information to the attacker, obviously. We just want to say to the attacker, retry, we are not sure of what you are presenting to the camera. Similarly, we have, for example, we have developed a mask. So this is the most common attack that you can imagine, but we have also, so this is the mask of my colleague, because mine is already running on LinkedIn everywhere. So I chosen another mask. So this is the mask of my colleague Sophie. So you can see really in 3D and quite good quality mask. So I can retry, for example, a quick liveness demo. So here we are. So I would put my face out of the, yeah. And here again, they will say, this is strange. This is strange because this is something that we have detected there is something wrong in there. And I will retry again, just to show it's not a fake one, with my real face in that case, because, well, you know, some people might think that we are faking it. So here again, this will work, because in that case, they will just saying that I'm a real user, I'm a real person, and not an attack.
Wow, that's really amazing, and it's nice that you're doing this completely live for us, and we can see that you're not playing any tricks on us. But how is this security level then possible on the technology side?
Well, actually, we have developed algorithms on our side, and we have trained with a lot of data. We have a lot of attacks, of different attacks, and it's always the game of the cats and mouse. We have to catch up with new attacks. So we think at least we are always one step further to the attacker to prevent this kind of attacks, and to see how the attacks will come, and to train our algorithm against all those kind of attacks. So this is for the liveness, obviously, and we have been into the evaluation labs. So there is one very renowned, was the first lab in the US called iBeta. So okay. This is the lab where we have passed all the evaluation for the liveness at the highest level on both mobile and laptop. And we have the similar lab in Europe called the CLR, and we also passed the 2 levels on the CLR. Mainly also because this is required for the regulation in Europe to have a high level and high standard of security on the back end.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I suppose there is regulations on this that you have indeed this secure tool to use. Well, very interesting. I'm really wondering if the people that are following us have already sent some questions, unless you wanted to share something else that you want to share with us before we go into possible questions of the audience.
Last thing, I was just saying at the beginning that finally we have a unified way of authenticating ourselves and very secure way. Mm-hmm. And I've made the demo on the laptop. I've not made the demo on the mobile device. Obviously, it works on the mobile device because the camera on the mobile device are highest quality than on the laptop. Today, we are providing the same level of security and efficiency on both devices. That's why it's interesting for authentication platform, back on the first subject, for any user to want to authenticate himself against the platform. So we can finally say goodbye to password. And we've been announcing that for years now, say goodbye to password, but nevertheless, we're still logging with passwords. And now we have at least one option to get rid of that.
Okay, so what do you mean is that you don't need the newest iPhone or the newest smartphone to be able to use this, even with cameras which are a little bit older, this might work. Is that correct?
That's exactly the point. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Stephanie, you've been monitoring possible questions that came in. Do you have already a question for Sébastien? And for those following us, feel free to all raise your hand if you have a question, or type your question, of course, in the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Sébastien. We've got a question here. How do you compare to other biometric players like IDEMIA, Veritas, Ariad Next, ID Now?
All right. So I will start with IDEMIA because I spent 12 years in IDEMIA. So I know quite well the technology in IDEMIA. We are competitors, at least on this very specific part. And all those guys are doing great. But nonetheless, I think the main issue today with the big companies is that they are bound to develop product for a wide range of things, whereas we are very flexible and we are providing systems for very specific use cases where we are really into authentication. So we are providing passive, and as I've said, we are the first, let's say, company in the world to have passed the iBeta level 2 with laptop. It doesn't say that the others are not doing well. It just say that we are benefiting, let's say, just for a moment or one step further than the others. So we will continue, and obviously we're talking to everyone who is interested to include this kind of technology. and I will speak to the others providers that we can certainly provide our kind of product. So they are not really competitors. They could be also potential customers.
Okay. Do you have other questions that came in, Stephanie? We still have some time. So
yes. Thank you, Sébastien. There's another question here. What if something happens to the face of the person due to an accident? So that means that the person cannot connect to his account anymore. So what is the backup plan for that?
Yes, this is typically the kind of things on inclusion, because of course, if you get an injury with your face, well, if it's just a matter of a scar or of let's say light injuries on the face, that will still work. But we wish that to no one. Obviously, if you have a big accident with your face that is completely changed, let's say, then in that case you will need to re-enroll, most probably. Of course, it depends. I would not go into detail because it's not, but basically it really depends. If your face is completely changed, then you will probably have to re-enroll. That being said, it raised the question that is much broader of inclusion of handicapped people and all those things. That's why we have developed all this kind of technology to be the most inclusive as possible. That's why I was really emphasizing the fact that you can use any device, but you can also, as I've said during the demo, we are not asking anything to the user. It's completely passive. You just have to put your face in front of the camera and press start. That's the only thing that you have to do. So this is the matter of inclusion. Inclusion in both in terms of gender, of age, of geography. So this is why we are really heavily working on our technology to provide this kind of inclusion to everyone.
Yeah, and thank you for that person that asked that question, because my husband had an accident and like about 3-4 years ago lost one eye, and then indeed I was wondering myself while you were explaining what can happen. So it's indeed stuff that can happen. Do we have any other question, Stephanie, at the moment?
One last question. Is the face biometrics authentication, can it be added to multi-factor authentication? You know, a lot of companies, they already have put in place their passwords, etc. Is this something that you can add on top of it, another factor authentication?
Absolutely. Actually, we are working on a platform to be interoperable with various standards, and one is OpenID Connect, that is obviously allowing the user to benefit from our technology, even though the customer has already a platform, authentication platform. Just have to connect to our backend, because we are working fully SaaS. So we just have to connect to our backend and to create this connect me with UNISSEY using the face of the users. The only thing that we need to require is to just store somewhere a face that would be the reference picture. And as I've said, the face could be stored either on the platform itself or on the local device of the user for privacy reasons.
So you are GDPR compliant then?
Yes, absolutely. We are fully GDPR compliant. We're based in France, so we don't have any much choice to be fully compliant with GDPR, which is a good thing though, anyway, because we are really protecting the data of the users.
There's another question. So if we store the face biometrics data on a mobile phone or on a laptop, so what happens if the laptop or the phone is stolen? So the person is the biometrics data related, linked to the device? So if it's stolen, can this person still log in on another device?
Well, actually, that raised the question of how do you store the data? Nowadays, with the systems, we just store pictures. All right. So the picture obviously needs to be stored in a secure way and encrypted in an area of the computer, of the smartphone, where only the user can access. But we're not storing biometric templates, because why? Actually, the networks that we are using, Troy networks, are constantly changing, evolving, improving. And improving the networks means also that the templates that used to work before is not longer working anymore on the new networks. So that's why we cannot store templates per se. We are storing pictures and in an encrypted manner. But this is something that we need to discuss with the integrator in that case, because we are supplying obviously the biometric factor. And then we are working with the integrators how to secure the data that are stored either on the server or on the device.
Thanks, Sébastien. Another question, how do you deal with the person aging, like after 10 years or 20 years? Do they need to redo the onboarding process? Because, you know, after 20 years, we'll have more wrinkles. So,
well, not so much. But well, actually, in France, there is a funny thing that you need to renew your documents every 10 years, like most of the countries, except for the driving license. So I have a very funny driving license. I will not show it to you because I made it when I was 18. So my face was really different, well, a bit different, let's say. And I used to use my driving license on our platform, and it still say with highly confidence that I'm the right one. And more recently, we have a colleague that has been testing the platform with a 9-year-old picture of him. He is now 31. And the platform still work very well. So actually, we are dealing very well with the aging. That's why I mentioned also with the inclusion, not to feel that the people are getting old. So this is something that is quite bad. Anyway, we know that the face is quite stable during the period of time that is roughly between, let's say, 14, 15 until, let's say, 40, 50 years old, and then start to change. But basically, you can re-enroll yourself regularly. Just when you perform a good authentication, you can ask to re-enroll yourself or use this new picture as the new token of reference. But most of the time, the face authentication will work.
Okay,
thank you.
I think we will have to wrap up the questions, but of course you're staying with us at the end of the whole program. We will have about 15 minutes if people have more questions for you or for other speakers, of course. And yeah, after you talking, I feel like I want to test this with I don't know, 17-year-old me, see whether he would still recognize me now, and hopefully it works, but we will see that.
I can send you a link, you can test it if you want. Yeah.
Would be great. Yeah, fantastic. Well, Sébastien, thank you so much. Thank you also, Stephanie, for following up these questions in the chat. And if that is okay with you, I will say thank you.